Geico asks, how would you love a chance to save some money on insurance? Of course you would. And when it comes to great rates on insurance, Geico can help. Like with insurance for your car, truck, motorcycle, boat, and RV. Even help with homeowners or renters coverage. Plus, add an easy-to-use mobile app, available 24-hour roadside assistance, and more, and Geico is an easy choice. Switch today and see all the ways you could save. It's easy. Simply go to geico.com or contact your local agent today.
Take the next step toward the career you want, be it business, cybersecurity, healthcare, or more. UMGC can help you get there. No application fee when you apply by August 31st. Visit umgc.edu, certified to operate by Chev.
Hey, Ola, it's Miles. Thank you guys for listening to the Men's Room Daily Podcast.
Have you heard our newest podcast? It's called The Greatest Story Never Told.
Download it today on radio.com. Be sure to subscribe. New episodes are uploaded every Tuesday at noon.
Unfortunately, what you're about to hear is real. The members of this radio program are simply not that bright, or what some people would call educated. They are merely stupid. They're not trying to offend anyone on purpose. And all have played doctors on TV. You have been warned and are cordially invited to join the party. This is the Men's Room.
Forget it, man, and get with the countdown. Get with the countdown. Shake this square world and blast off for Kicksville. The trippers, the grasshoppers, the hip ones, all gathered in secrecy and flying high as a kite.
This is the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill. You know what they say, shake your radio more than 3 times, and you're playing with it. You're listening to the Men's Room.
And away we go. Welcome to Season 16, Episode number 3,496. Along with Steve the Thrill Hill, the Ted Smith, and Mike Hawk. Montgomery. And you are the Men's Room. On tap today, Ryan Castle joins us, and once again, we will sit and spin. Today, we get into the cover game with 10 pop singers doing rock songs. We will play Profile This, plus headlines, Men's Room Shot of the Day, fun with listener emails, and everyone's favorite, TV Time with Ted.
Clack, drunk out there drunk.
All right, here we go. Florida woman gives birth to a beautiful baby girl in the Miami International Airport. Meanwhile, a company in India is paying remote workers to yell at armed robbers in the U.S. before they go to court. Man who had heart attack because of energy drinks wants to ban their sale to teens. Emergency crews in Japan summon for drowning woman and find someone's rubber queen. And a woman goes hiking in Michigan, meets a pissed off bison on the trail. That is all coming on today's very special episode of The Men's Room.
And now, here's the question.
Hola, bitches. Good day to you and yours. All right, if you're in the real estate market, I should let you know that the home where Charles Manson's followers stabbed and murdered a couple, well, it sold for under market value. Now, who would have guessed that a home where a couple was stabbed 50 times and bled out on the floor would sell for less than the asking price? Now, as I understand it, telling potential buyers about a death in the home, murder, suicide, natural causes, or whatever, apparently that is a state-to-state thing. But on the other hand, would you rather know in advance, or would you like to be the woman on TikTok who discovered the outline of a dead body under the carpet of her new home? Now, to be fair, she thinks it might be a joke, but she also thinks it might not be a joke. Either way, she's not feeling very comfortable in her own home. And I don't care who you are, your home should be your sanctuary. Your sanctuary, not a bird sanctuary. There's that family in California. They came home from dinner only to discover that in the few hours that they've been gone, over 800 birds had taken over their house. The inside of their house, that should be pointed out. These things were living in their home. Now, people who do want birds in their house, usually they go the more traditional route and they do things like, I don't know, get themselves a pet bird. And if you do have a pet bird, you probably hope that a naked stranger does not break into your home and kill it. Sadly, that exact scenario played out earlier this week in Bel Air. A naked guy wandered into a house, killed the pet birds, took a shower, stole a pair of shorts, and then rolled out. I can't explain it. That's just what happened. I mean, look, if someone's going to walk into your home and kill your pet, you'd at least hope, at the very least, it's an emergency situation. Mike, you'll appreciate this. Like the Oregon family, they had a pet chimpanzee. and then the pet chimpanzee escaped from its cage and attacked the daughter. Well, the police showed up, but for them to offer any real help, the homeowner had to agree to let them shoot the chimp in the head because it's a chimp, and it was angry. We'll get to all these stories in a minute, but the thing they have in common, they all happen at someone's house, man. And that's what comes up with today's very question. Whether you were home at the time or not, what happened in your house?
Be a part of the big show. Call 206-421-ROCK. Like the Men's Room on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Men's Room Live. And send those emails to the Men's Room at KISW.com.
Geico asks, how would you love a chance to save some money on insurance? Of course you would. And when it comes to great rates on insurance, Geico can help. Like with insurance for your car, truck, motorcycle, boat, and RV. Even help with homeowners or renters coverage. Plus, add an easy-to-use mobile app, available 24-hour roadside assistance, and more, and Geico is an easy choice. Switch today and see all the ways you could save. It's easy. Simply go to geico.com or contact your local agent today.
Take the next step toward the career you want, be it business, cybersecurity, healthcare, or more. UMGC can help you get there. No application fee when you apply by August 31st. Visit umgc.edu, certified to operate by Chev.
We return to the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill. 99.9 KISW.
All the shows, and away we go. Welcome to Season 16, Episode number 3,496. What a large and a charged program we have for you today. Exciting day. Guaranteed future repeat. That's fact.
I can feel it already.
Ryan Castle will join us, and once again, we will sit and spin. Here's the deal on today's Sit and Spin. We've got 10 pop singers doing rock songs. Why is that? Well, that's because the fine folks at Metallica, they're celebrating their 30th anniversary of the Black Album.
All right.
Their 5th studio album. And with that, they've got a brand new box set coming out of all kinds of live recordings, reissues. Basically, they redid the album and all the things you'd expect. Interviews, acoustic versions. And then they do one thing that you didn't really expect. They are putting out a separate CD on this called the Metallica Blacklist. And that includes different artists from various genres doing their versions of Metallica classics. So 53 different bands from around the world are all covering their favorite Metallica tune from the Black Album.
It'd been funny if they all picked the same song.
Yeah. And the first one that they let us get a little sample of, a little taste of today, believe it or not, is Miley Cyrus and Elton John covering Nothing Else Matters.
Okay, just like we thought.
Yeah, that's exactly the way this thing is going to go down. So, with that in mind, and hopefully that will be included in the list, I'm pretty sure it will be. Today we've got 10 pop singers doing rock songs on Sit and Spins.
Might as well, man. You got rock guys doing pop stuff. Right?
Absolutely.
We have Careless Whisper, Sounds of Silence. What was the other? Zombie? Is that the one I'm thinking? Yeah.
Yeah, that's, oh God, I can't remember that.
I cannot remember who does Zombie. For the life of me.
Bad Wolves.
Bad Wolves.
Bad Wolves.
Yo, the Bad Wolves. Yeah, they do that cover Zombie.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
All the covers that you hear. That's right. So we're going to get into some pop singers doing rock songs and covers coming up with Sit and Spin. Oh, here is some exciting news. We come in this morning, and believe it or not, just in time for the heat, just in time for summer. It is the Men's Room Koozie.
Oh, yeah.
Rock shop now. Keep your beverage cold over the summer. I've got mine right now. Keeping my Miller Lite warm or cold. And
keeping it warm.
Yeah, exactly. Just for the show, absolutely. You can get them as a single or a six-pack just in time for the summer. Available now in the Rock Shop at KISW.com. So that's a very cool thing. And today on our question, we're going to talk about probably not cool things that actually happened in your home.
Yep.
And we'll start with a homeowner who was confronted by a man who broke into his family's Bel Air home and killed their pet birds. Matt Saps was at his home with his wife Monica when she called to tell him someone was inside their home. The man, who can be seen on the home's Ring camera footage, walked around the couple's backyard naked, entered the home, and helped himself to a shower and a pair of shorts. Matt then confronted the man, who kept claiming the house was his and saying that he, in fact, would call the police. Matt then had to jump off the balcony of the master bedroom and called the police. Police later identified the man as 34-year-old Ryan Kean. The Ring video shows the man calmly walking around, sitting on the couch, and relaxing. Matt said he's lucky he only had to worry about his own safety, as his wife was watching through the security cameras, and their children were not home at the time of the incident. The intruder also killed two of their beloved pet birds with his bare hands. A representative from the home security company arrived and detained the intruder before handing him over to police to be arrested. He's expected to be in court next Monday and face a number of felony charges. Who goes into someone's house and decides to kill their pet birds?
Well, first of all, who goes into someone's house naked? That just starts there. But
good call.
The guy that I expect to kill my pet birds is the guy that broke into my house naked. Like, somehow that all makes sense because none of it makes sense.
Now we head to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Anybody here been to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina?
I have.
I was there once as a kid, but haven't been there in a long time. When's the last time you were in Myrtle Beach?
1999.
1999. Okay.
So recently.
All right, not too bad.
Miles, you should go back there. It's a golfing paradise.
I know. I'm supposed to go trust me, I was supposed to go last year, but that plan somehow fell through. I'm not sure what happened. A 54-year-old guy in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, called the cops on Saturday and said his 45-year-old girlfriend of 2 weeks had assaulted him during an argument in their home. And the thing they were fighting about was making s'mores.
Oh, yeah, every time.
It's not clear if they were arguing about how to make them or whether to make them. When cops got there, the woman claimed she never hit him and that it was just a heated verbal argument. He claimed she did hit him, but there's no bruises or marks to back up his story.
There's also no sleeves.
So they didn't have enough evidence to arrest her. It's not clear if they broke up, if they were going to work through it or whatever, but I figure if you get in a fight over s'mores after 2 weeks, things aren't going your way. And a story closer to home, out of Pendleton, Oregon. A deputy shot and killed a chimpanzee after he managed to escape from his cage and then bit a 50-year-old woman several times on her torso, arms, and legs. The attack occurred at about 8 a.m. on Sunday in Pendleton, Oregon. First responders rushed to the scene after receiving calls of an animal attack. Sheriff's office says the chimpanzee had resided with the owners for approximately 17 years.
Doesn't matter.
The owner told authorities that his 50-year-old daughter was trapped in the basement bedroom with the chimpanzee and needed immediate medical aid. In order to render aid to the daughter, a deputy had to put down the chimp with one shot to the head at the request of the owner. Then, after the chimp was down, aid was rendered to the woman. Both the owner and her adult daughter were taken to an area hospital in Pendleton for treatment. So apparently after 17 years of living in the home, probably without too many incidences, this chimpanzee...
it's a chimpanzee. Sorry, man. And look, if I'm a cop, and if you say there's an animal disturbance, sure, I'm going to drive to the address. If you slip up and say it's a chimp, I'm not going.
No.
I'm not going to be the first guy there.
Because we know what they have the power of doing.
Also, I don't know where it is. Luckily, it's in the basement doing it. The benefit for everyone else involved is that it was busy attacking that woman.
Right.
But otherwise, if it gets out of the bed, it's roaming around your house or it's outside, I want no part of this, man.
Yeah. I will say this. I don't know exactly what the math is on this, but the chimpanzee who was in Massachusetts, who basically ripped the woman's face off, right?
He did not basically do that. He did exactly that.
Hands, and everything else.
Her hands and her face, because the chimp, in that case, the chimp was not acting aggressively. It was outside of the house. The owner was trying to coax the chimp back in. The woman whose face got ripped off was a friend of the owner. And when she got out of the car, she was familiar with the chimp. But she tried to help coax her back in and held up either a tickle me Elmo or one of those.
It was an Elmo doll.
Apparently, the last thing you should hold up to a chimpanzee is an Elmo doll because it ripped her face off of her head for that.
Now, what we do understand, though, that chimpanzees will also rip off a guy's junk.
Yeah, because they don't want you to procreate. If they're fighting out in the wild, the idea is like even if you take me, you can't reproduce.
And other chimpanzees, they do the same thing, too. So, in the case of, let's say this chimpanzee...
That's different than I got your nose. Or I have your testicles in your penis.
Let's assume it's a female. As a guy, if you were to go down there and try to, confront the chimpanzee, or I know that's a bad idea, but either way, if it's a female, it's not going to do the same thing to you. It's not going to rip off your junk.
That's ripped off her face.
I know, but that's just the male that does that, right?
Because as far as I understand, because the idea is
reproduction.
In the animal kingdom, usually the guys want their lineage, right? Lions, chimpanzees, you name it. So the best thing you could do in case you're going to lose the fight, as a chimp sees it, I rip off your junk, even if you take me out. The one thing, you can't reproduce, and then you kind of become useless to your troop, right? So that's kind of the thing. With that woman he was attacking in the basement, this one in Oregon, he was still biting her, her arms, her legs, everything.
Yeah, generally ripping the junk off is probably the worst. But in this case,
yes.
He's already ripping off faces. He's ripping you limb to limb. Don't get it. It's all bad.
It is. I can't imagine you would have this thing in your house.
And that's the thing, people talk about pit bulls and that kind of thing, and I understand, but like the one thing about pit bulls, they don't throw punches. Like no matter how it's going to attack you, it's going to be its mouth, which is problematic. I understand that, but the chimp, it's the mouth, it's its feet. They said that in some cases when chimps fight, man, because of the way their feet are, they'll pin your wrist back with their feet, and then use their hands to rip off the rest of it. Jesus. Right, so think about it.
And then their strength is unbelievable.
Right. So if you said like a pit bull also knows Muay Thai, you'd be like, oh, wow. That's basically the same thing. Like the chimp might bite you with bigger teeth than you got. He might just punch you. He might just break your limbs. You might rip them off. Or he might rip off your trunk. Like nothing about that is okay.
I'm a sheriff's deputy in Pendleton, Oregon, of all places. And you're going to call and say, hey, we got our daughter in the basement, man, and this chimp's attacking her. Can you come over? I'm just thinking to myself, what did I sign up for?
Not bad.
What did I sign up for? Like, this is not what I thought I would sign up for.
But you notice in these cases, right? So they call the cops, it seems, when it's a chimpanzee. If it's something like a lion or a tiger, they will eventually get to the cops, but the cops even say, you need to call animal control. Right? But with a chimp, it's like, guns out, shoot this thing down. I don't know. But 17 years. But that also tells me if you had a chimp, because they're smart, obviously, but if you had a chimp for 17 years and still have to put it in a cage, maybe that's not the pet you want.
Yeah, I mean,
like if you have a pet tiger, it's always in the cage. Right?
But Pendleton's famous for its roundup. A lot of cowboys down there.
And also famous for the
chimp.
Are they lassoing chimps? You imagine trying to lasso a chimp? How poorly that would go for everyone involved.
Or he'd probably just yank you.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Pendleton also has men's and women's clothing. The company out of Pendleton, Oregon.
What about Pendleton whiskey?
I've got a.
Is that from there?
I believe so. I've got a dog bed. Maybe not. I got a dog bed that's a Pendleton bed. It's really nice. So I'm assuming they do that, and they have chimpanzees that attack their owners.
Other than the chimp attacks, Pendleton sounds lovely.
I only know it because I have a buddy that goes every year for the roundup.
You weren't kidding about that.
Oh no.
Okay.
He showed me pictures. It looks awesome.
Where is Pendleton located exactly? Do we know?
Oregon.
Okay, that's exactly right. Yes, it is.
I'm
somewhere in Oregon.
Look, I'm dead serious. A good buddy of mine, him and his buddies and their wives go every year, and I'm like, that looks fun. He's like, yeah, man, it's like famous.
Okay.
All right, a question, whether you were home at the time or not, what happened in your house? 206-421-ROCK.
Hello, Joe. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola, bitch, hola.
Hola.
All right, so when I was a kid growing up in Issaquah, the Issaquah Creek flooded out pretty much every year, and I lived about 15 minutes downstream if you were riding an inner tube down the creek from the salmon hatchery. One year the hatchery flooded out. We ended up with over 100,000 fingerling salmon in our basement.
You ended up with 100,000 what?
Fingerling salmon.
Oh, of course.
I think he said salmon in your basement.
Yes.
So what's the technique to now get them out of the basement, right? I mean, do you call Fish and Wildlife? Do you cast a pole? I mean, what do you do?
Actually, the fire department had to come out and use their hoses to pump out our basement, and every 5 seconds they had to stop and clear out their pump.
Oh, is this full of fish?
So did they kill all the fish?
Yeah, got them all.
Okay.
Were they full size or like little babies?
Yeah, fingerling salmon are little babies.
Fingerling salmon.
Okay.
All right.
Gotcha.
All right, it's the hatchery.
Yes, that makes sense. Okay, now it's all coming together for me. Yes, I was right there with you, Ted. It was taking me a little time to...
Big or little? Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
Like, listen, Ed McMahon.
I don't have direct answers. They really had that problem, I want to say, like when Katrina hit in New Orleans and then also in Houston. What was it, man? Like, so I know some gators are in the street, but that's not completely out of the realm. But was it the dolphins?
They lost, I thought the Navy lost dolphins that they were trying to make smarter or something.
What's that? I remember, like, wherever these dolphins were, it got flooded during the hurricanes. The dolphins were like, peace out, bro. And I mean, I want to say they found, like, one of them. And the other one, they're gone.
Yeah. I think the only animal that's really ever invaded my house were those mites from the dead bird. And they were dropping from my oven. And it was just like, they looked like little tiny crabs.
But I think, that's just gross. I would rather
was
get
absolutely,
home.
It smelled like death in my house.
They're falling out of the corpse of a dead bird stuffed the boat. I mean, like, I'd rather come home and deal with a raccoon, right? It's a one-time deal. You grab your shovel, you scream. You go, as opposed to mites basically falling from the heavens onto my stove.
Right. Well, when I was a kid, we'd get squirrels sometimes in the attic. And you had to, like, call I don't know, it was a squirrel guy, whatever. But they'd show up. They're like,
hey,
squirrel guy.
I'm Billy the squirrel guy. You got a squirrel in the attic? Give me a call.
But you remember, like, as a kid, it seemed like a massive deal. Like there's a squirrel up there, there's a trap.
Parents really freak out, man.
Yeah.
It's really not that big of a deal. I mean, get it out of your house, but parents really, really freak. Oh, my God, there's a squirrel. It's like, dude, it's a squirrel. Mm-hmm. And he's in the attic, right? I mean, just chill out. We'll get him out. Don't freak out about it. Although we both had bats in the house. That's a much... I don't know what it is about bats. Maybe it's just because we grow up and we think they're all going to turn into goddamn vampires or something, but... You see a bat. If you have a bird in your house, nobody freaks out. You have a bat in your house. I mean, people have a real hard time.
Have you? How about humans in your house that you were scared of? Just based on the knowledge of you know who this person is.
The only time I've been scared of human beings in my house, and it's few and far between, and not every time, but the only time is if I'm moving, and that's from childhood when we moved around. More recently, when we moved out of our first hill place. As you begin to talk to these guys, or they talk, and you just kind of hear bits and pieces of their past, you're like, oh, my God. I mean, we had a guy who's a murderer, taking our stuff out of the place, and it's like, I don't know what to say. And then he broke my dresser, but I had an inkling that he had killed his girlfriend based on his own statement.
He told me the same thing to me.
Hey, man, I broke the dresser, the front fell off. I'm like, no problem.
Mm-hmm. I don't know about my house, but I've definitely been in other homes where there was some scary things.
Okay.
When I was a kid, we needed to get the inside of our house painted. And my stepfather sat me down. He says, listen, he said, your Uncle Rudy, he's going to send down 2 guys from Detroit, and they're going to stay in our house for the week, and they're going to paint the house, okay?
I know, it just sounds bad from the jump.
Uncle Rudy, Detroit.
2 guys from Detroit.
They owed Uncle Rudy a favor. He got them out. All right. So now they're on the hook, and they were painters. They were both, they're painter by trade, right?
That says a lot.
So he says to me now, he says, listen, I just want you to know, these 2 guys are, they just got out of jail, and I'm going to go pick them up. All right. And I'm going to be gone for a day or 2, and I'm going to go get them, and I'm going to drive back, and then they're going to stay in our guest bedroom. But I just want you to know that if anything weird happens, I want you to report it to me immediately.
How old are you at the time?
I'm like 10. If you see them drinking alcohol in the house, you have to tell me immediately, because they're not allowed to have alcohol. There's all these different rules in the house. You know what I mean?
So, but it's just you and them.
Yeah, and they're staying in the house. I mean, my mom was out of town. It's just me and the stepfather. Right?
Because your mom would have been like, hell no.
Okay, so long story short, there's no incidents, anything like that. Wintertime comes around, and I go to the wood pile to start bringing some wood in for the winter. I'm out at the wood pile outside, and I realize that these guys had stashed no less than 15 bottles of vodka in between the wood. Right. All right, and they drank it all. They were all empty bottles, but my stepfather was the one that put it together.
Right.
I was like, hey man, what's on? And he's like, and he looked at the bottles. And the bottles were something that he was familiar with.
Of course.
And he was like, I'll be damned. He's like, they were drunk the entire time. And I was like, well, they didn't kill anybody. That's cool with me.
2 drunk dudes that just got out of prison from Detroit were hanging out with my 10-year-old, and they were hammered the whole time.
Yeah.
Cool.
Whether you're home at the time or not, what happened in your house? 206-421-ROCK.
Geico asks, how would you love a chance to save some money on insurance? Of course you would. And when it comes to great rates on insurance, Geico can help. Like with insurance for your car, truck, motorcycle, boat, and RV. Even help with homeowners or renters coverage. Plus, add an easy-to-use mobile app, available 24-hour roadside assistance, and more, and Geico is an easy choice. Switch today and see all the ways you could save. It's easy. Simply go to geico.com or contact your local agent today.
Take the next step toward the career you want, be it business, cybersecurity, healthcare, or more. UMGC can help you get there. No application fee when you apply by August 31st. Visit umgc.edu, certified to operate by Chev.
99.9 KISW. The men's room is in progress.
Our question, whether you're home at the time or not, what happened in your house? 206-421-ROCK.
Hello, Graham. Welcome to the men's room.
Boo, bitches.
Boo.
Hey, real quick, every day I pick up my son from school, and he's autistic, and man, he loves you guys every day.
Nice.
Wants to listen to you guys.
How old is he? We had a 3-year-old yesterday that apparently wants his dad to shut up so he can listen. How old's your kid?
yeah, Gabriel's 10.
Is he still doing school, or is he not done with that yet?
Tomorrow's his last day before the summer.
What's he doing for the summer?
Probably, well, once we get the pool up, probably this weekend, probably swimming in the pool.
Wow.
Hey,
Okay.
get it up this weekend, homie. It's going to be hot.
Yeah, that's fact.
Yes, we got to get it done by this weekend. So, anyway, so I live in Auburn now, but I lived in a house in Hilltop, and we bought it in 2008, my wife and I, and right before we had bought it, they had remodeled it. I think it was like, where they flip it. They bought it, remodeled it, and then sold it. So our kitchen was really nice, granite countertops, all that. Anyway, and my fantasy football commissioner was also an amateur pornographer. And he asked me, he goes, hey, man, you're the only person that has, like, a decent, like, house. And I'm like, my house isn't that great. He goes, yeah, but your kitchen's, like, brand new. And I said, yeah. And he goes, do you think your wife would be cool if we did, like, a photo shoot in your kitchen? I'm like, well, what kind? He's like, he's like, I'm trying to break out into Hustler. And I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, let me ask her. And I was thinking she was going to say no way. And, of course, she's like, hell yeah, let's do it.
Really?
Yeah. So, we did have to tell him to started out with one girl. Then it was going to be one girl and two dudes. And then he's like, actually, it's going to be 6 dudes and a girl. And I said, yeah, no, let's, can we keep it in single digits there, man? Maybe. And he said, yeah, that's cool. So, yeah, my kitchen wound up in the August 2009 or 2010 issue of Hustler. I've got it somewhere.
Oh, I was going to say, how did your kitchen look in the pictures?
It looked good, man. I mean, we had dark stained cherry cabinets, green tile, granite countertops, and I'm not going to lie, when we have dinner over, friends over for dinner, they're like, how much did you scrub this afterward? And I'm like, no, we scrubbed it a lot. And they're like, can we eat in the living room? I'm
See,
like,
that's what I was going to ask.
Do you tell people, like, hey, while you're enjoying this meal, we shot a porn here?
Some of my friends that knew about it some of them were really cool. Others were kind of apprehensive, like, yeah, maybe we'll just go out to dinner. We'd rather not eat at your place. But for the most part, they thought it was cool. I mean, and my wife, she was like, bought a bunch of copies of it so we could give them out to people. Like, hey, yeah, we're in Hustler. And it's like, you're in Hustler? No, our kitchen.
Where did the most naked butts touch surface? So, I mean, was the granite countertops taking advantage of?
Yeah, for sure the countertop, and then actually the floor. Once she was on the floor, I'm not going to lie, man, there was kind of like a slug trail afterwards.
Let me ask you this.
Now, wait, who's responsible for cleaning? So they do the photo shoot, and is it like you and your wife have a mop and bucket, or does he take care of this as well?
Nope. Part of the stipulation is that you got to clean it top to bottom when you're done, dude. And I asked him. I said, hey, I just want a few copies of this if it gets published, and it did get published. So
and were you present for the photo shoot, or did you just let him do it and you checked up later?
No, I was there.
Okay, let me ask you. So you watched them do this thing?
Yeah.
Was it stills, or were they actually filming a video?
He filmed video, but the stills were obviously what were published in Hustler, but he took video as well. I think the whole thing took under 2 hours.
Did he come in and like adjust lighting and all the other stuff, or was it just, look, the kitchen as is and that's it?
Yeah, I mean, he had one of those, I can't remember what they're called, but it looks like a big white screen that directs the lighting in a specific fashion. I mean, he had some of that stuff set up, and that, I think, was more for the motion for filming the video, which he self-published and was pretty raunchy.
Did you actually see them in mid-coitus?
Yeah.
Okay. See, I've never got a ticket to that show before. I've never watched with their knowledge. Two other people.
With their knowledge.
Look,
that's your caveat.
Well, apartment building across the street, I told you, man, it was a couple of that all the time. I walk out the street, like, Jesus Christ, what is going on over there? But I've never been a spectator when someone knows that I am there and I am watching them. Now,
but they're working, man. It's just doing the job.
So, like, if I watch a porn, the first thing that comes to my mind is, other than feeling inferior, feeling inferior. So when you see this guy, and you know what I mean, he takes off his pants, you're like, this is a guy that's important, right?
Yeah, it's weird. I think you kind of hit the nail on the head. It's a job for them. So they're like, the girl, when hi, so, I can't remember what her name was. But, she introduced herself. She was like, yeah, okay, cool. Is this where we're doing it? Okay, cool. Yeah. And she had something else she had to be doing. So she was on a time schedule, and it was like punching in and punching out. probably could have worded that better.
I got a 6 o'clock shift at Sherry's. We got to get this over with fast.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I mean, are they, in the world of porn, I mean, how much editing goes into this, or is it kind of a one-take deal? I mean, is there a guy just standing with his hands on his hips, erection, waiting to enter the scene, or what?
Yeah, I mean, as far as, there's definitely a lot of editing based, now that I've kind of heard not me behind the camera, but been behind the scenes, and yeah, there's definitely a lot of editing that happens. The whole thing, like I said, was about 2 hours, and maybe about a half hour for setup. And
Did
take your clothes off and go?
Did you watch the actual video? So in other words, you're behind the scenes, and then you see the video beyond the photo shoot and think, like, I can't believe you cut that scene out. How did that hit the floor? That was a great moment.
Yeah, and the guy that did it, like, this was pretty tame as far as what he was into. It was, the video, I mean, I saw it on the camera itself. Once he got it, I think he ripped it to DVDs or whatever, but he took maybe 100 photos, 200 photos, because they were only going to publish one in Hustler, like one or two in Hustler.
I got to ask, how long did this guy have to perform for? You know what I mean?
Right.
To be able to make this. Was it like one session? Was it 2 sessions? Was it 3 sessions? You know what I'm saying?
No, it was, I want to say it was probably 2 sessions, and each one was maybe just shy of an hour, I want to say.
Damn, that's impressive.
Damn, man.
Yeah, again, it was very, for lack of a better term, it was very workmanlike.
No, I mean, it's their job. They're getting paid for this, man.
Yeah.
And how did
go ahead.
How did they look? I mean, as far as the couples go, I mean, were they an attractive couple?
No.
Yeah, I was going to say, Hustler's a little lenient on the attractive part.
No, this was not, this is what you would, if you were to go to, like, Fox's or Rick's back in the day, kind of what you would expect from that. It's the Northwest, it's not Vegas.
Okay, and did you ever think for a second maybe taking one of the pictures, one of the pictures from the Hustler, and framing it and hanging it in your kitchen?
Yeah. I mean, my wife wanted to do that. That's what she wanted to do. And I said, I don't know that my parents would be cool with that if they came over. So
they wouldn't be.
I mean, we had a coffee that we had in the. Yeah, I know. And we had a coffee table that had a glass top so you could put stuff in it. So we had it in there to kind of show it off for people. And then, we were having company, like parents or whatever, we just throw a tablecloth over the table and, and then it's completely hidden.
Did you ever forget to throw the tablecloth? It's Thanksgiving, the parents coming over, and it's like, why is there a Hustler here?
I don't think so. My wife was pretty fastidious about stuff like that.
Okay. And what do you think your parents would think? Not to hang the picture in the kitchen, but if you said, look. So I'll let you guys know our house has been featured in a magazine, although it's not, Better Homes and Gardens here. It is, it's Hustler. I mean, would they be happy for you on some level?
No, I don't think so. And, no.
One more question. You said you live in Auburn now.
Yes.
And you're at Hilltop then. So when you move, do you think your kitchen now is porn level quality? Your new kitchen?
No,
okay.
Heavens,
right.
no.
So
it's mid-70s. It needs work bad.
Right. So no one's going to ask you this again.
Damn, he downgraded.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Unbelievable, man.
Better got a deal on that house.
That is it's an unusual request.
That is.
Would you agree to it?
Yeah. Hell yeah.
I think I would too. Somebody's like, hey man, and when they're real specific about the room, so it's not your whole house, just your kitchen for whatever reason is what I
feel like pleather.
I will say, I went to we'll just say a late night party once.
Okay.
Where they were filming some stuff. It was awkward.
Oh, so you've seen that? You've
yeah.
Okay.
Did you know this was going on when you got there, or is it just...
We did, and we were like real fired up, like this is going to be awesome. And then it was just awkward.
How many people were watching?
I mean, there was, 15 of us kind of watching. And then, like, some of the girls weren't in the scenes, so they were kind of, like,
wandering around.
Strippers for the night.
Okay. All right.
Like, it was awkward. It literally
this was not at the Bunny Ranch, right?
No.
This is just standard.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Like, I think it would be really weird to watch 2 other people, have sex in front of me.
I mean, it literally ends, like, we were excited about this all day, right?
Yeah.
Like an inn, like, somebody's filming stuff in town. Like, this is going to be awesome. And then literally it just ends, I think, like, it was late, and I just looked at my buddy and was like, do you want to just go drink beers? Like, because in theory, you're like, this should be super awesome.
Sure.
Yeah, but, yeah, it was very awkward. And I think it's different if you're in, like, a lifestyle where there's groups of people doing stuff. That would probably be cool. But, yeah, just watching people get paid to have sex was weird.
What'd you do tonight?
Went to a party.
Hung out.
Yeah.
I mean, could you get a beer or anything when you're watching? Or?
I think that was part of the problem. I don't think you could.
All right, so
that's what makes it weird.
Yeah.
Like, if you're not doing anything other than standing there watching people have sex, I mean, there's no refreshment.
Right, 'cause they were like renting a space, so there was like weird rules for like, I couldn't remember if they could have alcohol or something. Either way, we were very excited. I would probably not do it again.
Is there a fluffer?
Like, are they on site? You know what I mean?
Is that a real thing? Or is
I
that
know
just...
it's a real thing, but I know on professional shoots they'll have those people there. Like, you know what I mean? It's like your game time doctor, man. They got to massage the cramps or whatever's going on, put you back in the game.
Do you just stare, or do you turn away for a while, or you know what I mean, or what?
I mean, it was both. And then when you like a lap dance, it's like, ow.
Did you get one?
No, that's what I'm saying. It was awkward, and that's like how the girl asked it, like. You guys like a lap dance? I was like, you're not really into this. Like, come on. Like, I don't know what we're doing here. Like, have we been here half an hour? I don't care what we paid to get in here. Like, let's just get out of here.
Well, somebody here, and I've read the same article. It says, I read an article, the porn companies are renting out Airbnbs to shoot the porns. And they point out, I would be very mad if it was my house. Well, part of the thing with this article is that the Airbnbers obviously do not know this.
No.
Right, so it's just me saying, hey,
they see their home.
I'm going to rent your house in Portland for 3 nights or whatever. And they're like, yeah. And you pay for it. And I'm sure they even clean it up when they're done. But it's just like you said later, certain friends like, dude, I'm pretty sure I saw your house.
But what if it was you? Could you really call yourself out on this? Like, I was watching this movie the other night. Look, honey, that's our living room.
Yeah, you can call it out.
You know what I mean?
Oh, I get what you're saying. Like,
I'm the one watching this. This is meant for me. This is being made for people like me who are into this.
Yes.
How can I be real upset
it
about
depends.
my house being involved?
It depends.
Right?
It's one thing to say I was watching porn. No big deal, right? You were asleep on the sofa. What do you expect me to do? It depends what thumbnail I've clicked.
Right.
It's about the specificity of what it is I was looking for. So if it's just a regular porn, no problem. Like, look at this, man. They rented in our house and filmed the porn. I'm mad. But if it's,
if it's up your alley, you're watching it.
That's what I mean.
Right, but it depends on what you're watching.
Like,
right.
I'm just going to go ahead and let it go.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You might not want to call anybody out on it. Just like, hey.
You could lie and just be like, I read it online. I heard this company's been doing this, honey. Look, they used our place, too.
See, that's how you approach it. You say, hey, I read this article that people are filming porns in Airbnb, so why don't we surf some porn and see if our house shows up?
I just assume if you rent an Airbnb, and I know this is me being paranoid, that everything that you do is mostly on camera.
I don't know, man.
Does that mean being paranoid? I mean, it sounds like...
I don't think it's a bad paranoia, only because you are in someone else's house, and if that's what you need to believe to not do anything,
right,
untowardly, then good. But the people that get busted with the cameras in Airbnb, they get in a lot of trouble.
Like...
Because it's one thing to have it in the living room.
Yeah,
it's different in the bedroom.
I've rented... Actually, I don't use Airbnb.
Who was the guy, Rob... Was it Rob Riggle? Was going through a separation from his
Rob
wife,
Riggle, yeah.
And she suspected him of cheating on her, so she put a camera in a smoke detector.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
You didn't read this?
And recorded everything. So that's how she confronted him, like, well, no, we're separated, but you said you do, whatever. She was just trying
They were already separated.
Yeah, they weren't
she
together
went
anymore.
back and put this thing, because she was trying to get stuff, for the
there's
divorce.
video of her
right?
wiring the damn thing in.
I don't know if she was right, but he realized it was there, so what Riggle did, I would have instantly had a reaction. He played it cool and started feeding false information to this thing.
So that she would say something about that false information. So, in other words, like, yeah, it was me and Steve, like, boy, that was a great weekend we had in Ocean Shores.
Right.
Blah, 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 blah. We didn't go to Ocean Shores. So then when she confronts him, like, why were you at Ocean Shores last week?
I wasn't, but I know you're recording me.
Yeah. So that was basically how he kind of found out.
I guess if you own the home, you can film. I don't know. I've rented plenty of places. I never thought about there being cameras on the inside all the time.
I mean,
I assume on the outside.
Right, exactly, like a Ring cam or whatever. That
People
makes
have Ring
sense.
cameras. They have baby monitors. What they have, like those teddy bear. If you don't trust your babysitter or whatever it is.
I bet you there's an Airbnb category out there.
I will check.
You know what I'm saying? I think
I'm
that might
doing it
prove
for
a
the
lot
show.
of our points, right? I don't know if you want to label it that way.
I don't know if you could, because they're a company and they're not trying to promote the idea.
I'm sure somebody out there knows, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you rent out an Airbnb. Whether you were home at the time or not, what happened in your house? 206-421-ROCK.
Geico asks, how would you love a chance to save some money on insurance? Of course you would. And when it comes to great rates on insurance, Geico can help. Like with insurance for your car, truck, motorcycle, boat, and RV. Even help with homeowners or renters coverage. Plus, add an easy-to-use mobile app, available 24-hour roadside assistance, and more, and Geico is an easy choice. Switch today and see all the ways you could save. It's easy. Simply go to geico.com or contact your local agent today.